My earliest recollections of Pine Island Baptist Church had to do during the years while I was finishing up seminary. I became aware of a new church beginning down here in the Rochester area. Early beginnings and tent meetings, along with the help and the pastoral leadership of Pastor Leon Leeds. They established the church in 1972. And so I was still in seminary, and I graduated from seminary in 1974 from Central Baptist Theological Seminary. And in that process of time, I had taken the First Baptist Church in Adrian, Minnesota, and was there for a few years. And then I got in contact with, or I was contacted by Grant Fries, and he contacted me there. We began to talk and speak together. And so as I was coming toward the end of my years at Adrian, I had contact with Brother Grant. And so as I think about that, I came and became interested in the ministry of Pine Island Baptist Church. One of the first group of men that I met with at that time was Grant Fries, Marlon Eady, Dave Tapp, and Lyle Hinkle. And that remains in my mind. And that was in 1978, after an interview process and time of question and answer. I consented and gave my decision to come to be the pastor of Pine Island Baptist Church. So 44 years ago, my wife came with our family. We came here to Pine Island, Minnesota, and became the pastor of Pine Island Baptist Church. And we're thankful for that wonderful experience. Pine Island Baptist Church at that time was meeting in the old theater building, which is now known as the Old Pine Theater. And through the years of developing and becoming a church, Pastor John Henderson had led the church as he had become the first pastor, and they established and restructured the inside of the theater and made it look more like a church. And they had a platform and a pulpit area, and we had a baptismal and an interesting baptismal setup, but it was available for use whenever we needed it. And I have quite a few memories of that baptismal being filled. The Pine Island milk tank would pick up the milk for the day, take it to the, creamery, and there he would empty the load, and then he would wash the tank out and fill it up with warm water, hot water, I guess, come to the back of our building, fill up our baptistry, and fill that up, and then we'd let that kind of semi-cool down and get ready for the baptismal for the next day, which would have been Sunday in the evening. One time I remember walking into the tank, and it was so cold at the bottom of the tank, so I was in there kicking it around and making sure that the water would mix. And I remember Dwayne Fries walked into that tank, and I knew it was cold, and he kind of looked at me, and I just said, well, here we go. And we did that many, many times. While I was here at Pine Island Baptist Church in 1982, I was strongly encouraged to proceed with my ordination. So I was ordained in 1982 here, and my ordination verse that I held during that time was holding fast the faithful word as he hath taught me, that we might be able, or he may be able by sound doctrine, both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers. So that was my ordination verse, and that was here in Pine Island, Minnesota, Pine Island Baptist Church. It's always been a blessing when we have found ourselves here off and on through the years to see many of the core people that were there with us for those years. And still see them, be able to talk with them, share fellowship and time together. And so we appreciate that. And then to see how the growth has become a very real part of now Cornerstone Baptist Church. We're thankful also that as a pastor, I was involved in all the areas of the ministry, obviously, like song leading, preaching, teaching Sunday school, been involved with Bible class, youth work, just heavily involved with things. And to see that now many of these youngsters are grown up, have their own families, and have proceeded in their lives spiritually. One of the gentlemen that is a blessing to our church and to several members of the church here, Brother Dennis Tapp, who's now the pastor of the church in Woodville, Wisconsin. So we've had a lifelong friendship. His ministry was effective, and we're thankful for that. So we're thankful for the memories of preaching, teaching, fellowshipping, visiting, talking to people about the Lord, and all of the matters of administration. And we're thankful for the years that we have nothing but fond memories, no regrets, just thankfulness and praise for what God has done here.